Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm excited about the Asar Thompson pick. I already did a video on that, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about Marcus Sasser, the point guard slash shooting guard that we got from Houston, the Cougars, right? We got our future backup guard. We got our first guard off the bench. I am very, very confident in that. And I think he is a guy that can play for a long, long time. Not only that, but if there's still any struggles with injury, I think he's a guy that can come in, that he can play at a high level, and the team doesn't fall off a cliff. I am shockingly happy with this pick. When we traded up and we did our live reaction, you can go look at it. I think it's titled something about Pistons fan live reaction to a trade, draft trade or something like that. Go take a look at it. But like I'm telling you right now, this guy is phenomenal. So in this video, what we want to do is we want to give you an understanding of why his game can translate to the NBA and also do a couple of player comparisons for you. We did a player comparison live right on the show when we were doing the draft, but I want to kind of reiterate that a little bit. So we'll continue to talk about this. Marcus Sasser is a guy that comes in and he is an absolute epitome of a two-way player. He is a very good shooter, and he is also very good at defense. If you're not familiar with Tankathon, one thing they kind of do is up in this box right here, they give you a little bit of a, here's what they're good at, here's what they're not good at. Their stats give strengths in these areas and weaknesses in these areas. I've never seen someone with this many strengths areas drafted at 25 before. I've never seen someone with this many strength areas. And I think some of it is just that it's like he's not a supreme athlete. Don't need to be, and I'm going to explain why. His assist rate wasn't great. That's about the only knock on him. Here's what he does extremely well. He shoots the ball unbelievably well. He shoots it at a, for his career, or in 22-23, I should say, shot it at a 38.5% clip. He's been well over 40% the year before. Like, the dude is an experienced player. He's 22, almost 23 years old. I get that, but he is a game one ready player for the NBA. And I know what you're saying. Like, he's 6'2", he's a small guard, he's a small combo guard. Nobody wants a small combo guard. He has a 6'7" wingspan too. So he has a wingspan of that of a taller player. So that's a big deal, and it allows him to get over on some other things that he wouldn't necessarily do. So we're going to get back into some of these stats. We're going to get back into these, but for a second, I want to do some scouting comparisons for you. So on the live broadcast, somebody said Lindsey Hunter, and I'm like, okay, that's not a bad one. Actually, it's just the NBA is completely different these days. He's a better shooter than Lindsey Hunter. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of Lindsey Hunter when he came back to the Pistons and that they did that championship run. I started looking around, and then, first, let me say this. Then later I talked about on offense, he reminds me of Jameer Nelson. He reminds me of Jameer Nelson. I think he's got a little more wiggle in the mid-range than Jameer did. But that's not a bad comparison. And we're familiar with Jameer in Detroit. So that's all good things. But the player comp that they gave, I was looking at DraftKings Nation, and they said Sasser boasts even more potent score potent. Why did I say potent? Potent score version of Davion Mitchell. I don't know if you remember Davion Mitchell. He was out of Baylor, I believe. He drafted by the Kings with like the 10th pick. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know if I like that because his offense wasn't there. But he was a lockdown defender. He was a phenomenal lockdown defender. Sasser is a similar lockdown defender with the ability to shoot. Okay. So I continued looking. Fansided wrote an article and who the player comps were for Marcus Sasser on that. They agreed with me, and they said that, like they looked with me. I'm just saying we had the same take. On the offensive side, they couldn't find someone that was a two-way in the same comp, but they said Jameer Nelson on offense. Okay, I agree with that. A guy who can flat out score. There's always room for shooters in the NBA. There's always room for shooters in the NBA. They said for defense, it's Kyle Lowry. This is really weird. So it says that he reminds them of a perfect blend of Kyle Lowry defensively with a Jameer Nelson offensive package. Here's what I'm going to say. Throw these stats back up there. Per 36 minutes, he is a guy that is averaging almost 20 points, almost 4 assists, shooting at great clips, almost 2 steals, only 2 fouls. He does not foul. And when you go into the player comparison game, you can't even find someone. You have to take this good defensive player defensively, and then you take a player offensively. Those are all good signs. That's all pointing in the right direction. I'm extremely happy with what the Detroit Pistons have done in this draft. Marcus Sasser is a win. And it's going to be interesting because Pistons fans are going to fall in love with him because I think he might even be better right away than Sasser. Maybe. Summer League is going to be fun, isn't it? Watching these two play with each other. That's what I love about early draft picks is you get to watch them play in Summer League where you get to see athleticism shine, where you get to see them be just dogs on the defensive end, just love it. And they just get to go out there and they get to play. We're going to get to see Asar Thompson playing against a higher level of competition than he's ever played against. And we're going to get to see how he responds. We are going to get to see Marcus Sasser be that cool, calm, 4-year vet that he is. And you're just going to be like, the dude just makes the right play. And he can just flat out shoot. And you're going to see that in Summer League. I don't know. And I know in Detroit, we have a propensity. We have a bend to love the little guy. We have a bend to like the guy who isn't expected to be the great player. Marcus Sasser is going to fit that bill. I, for the life of me, can't understand why this guy on so many sites is rated somewhere between 25 and 35. I can't understand for the life of me why this guy stuck around to the 25th pick. It doesn't make sense to me. When I look at the NBA draft and I look at players that were taken before Sasser, I can easily pick 10 players that I would want Sasser way more than them. In fact, outside of the top 10 players, top 11, 12 players, Sasser was way up there on my board because he is a guy who you can plug in and play now. He makes you a better defensive team on ball defensive team. I want to make it clear. Yes, he is small, so he's going to struggle with some switches. You can't be a switch on everybody type team with Sasser because you don't want him matched up against bigger players. So yeah, you're going to have to do some drop coverage when you're doing ball screens when Sasser is the main defender. I get that. But he comes in and gives you that dog mentality. He comes in and he gives you great shooting. This is awesome. This is what we want. And Jaden Ivey, we just need you to be a guy who's going to play defense. You're going to dig in and you're going to hit open shots. We found him. Almost guaranteed. All right. See you on the next one. Leave a comment, hit subscribe, become a member. Peace. It's not ending. When technology fails you, this is what happens. The video is over. Please feel free to click away.